For the fourth Sunday of Lent and the second scrutiny for those still journeying to the Easter sacraments, we hear the story of the man born blind and his encounter with Jesus. You know, and there's a lot going on here too, like all of these gospel stories that are included in the scrutinies. And you know, the man born blind is healed by Jesus spitting on the ground, making clay with his saliva and smearing it on the man's eyes. You know, there's something about that that's obviously, you know, it's no pun intended, but it's so earthy, you know, and maybe a reminder to us of a couple of things. Actually, one of these comes from St. Ambrose of Milan, so very close to our own heart as a parish. But, you know, it's a reminder of Jesus's divinity, that he takes the, you know, the stuff of the earth and the stuff of his own mouth and makes the clay that heals the man. But it's also something that harkens back to the creation story and man being formed out of the dust of the earth, and you know, something that only God has the power to do. So it's a revelation of Jesus's divinity at the same time that he's so comfortable with the humanity in making clay in the way that he does. Now, for the blind man, you know, there's the other part that really matters here is the fact that Jesus tells him to go wash in the pool of Siloam, which means sent. So not only does Jesus restore him, not only does he baptize him in a sense, but he also sends him on mission. You know, and so another important part for all of us who have already been baptized and confirmed, but also for those on that journey towards the Easter sacraments. Jesus doesn't just save us from our iniquity, the sins of the world, you know, our own sins, all that ails us. He doesn't just save us from that, but in that saving, he sends us out on mission to proclaim the good news of our salvation. So, you know, it works right along with baptism and confirmation. We're not just drawn into the saving power of God, but we're also sent out. That's the confirmation part. We're sent on mission. So, you know, those are the points that really pertain to you know, to the Easter journey, to all of us who have received the sacraments of initiation. You know, and we could wander into the weeds of the rest of this story, and I'm not sure how far I want to get, but I am struck by just how hard the crowd works to discredit Jesus in the midst of this. You know, you got questions of, you know, who sinned, you know, the man or his parents, and Jesus says, look, it isn't about that, you know, this is there for God's glory. He allowed it for his glory in healing. And beyond just the healing, you know, the witness of this entire scenario. But you've got those questions of who's responsible for this condition, you know. You've got questions of, you know, how could this man who sins and heals on the Sabbath? It's like, well, Jesus has dealt with this before, you know. Is it wrong to heal on the Sabbath? Like, this is crazy. You know how far they go to discredit Jesus or you know, take the attention away from the miraculous healing that happened here. You know, maybe we don't go that far, you know, in our own lives, but I think a lot of times it's just easier for us to avoid the beauty of God at work in the midst of the messes of our lives than it is to really go seek him in that mess and grapple with the reality of what's going on. You know, we want to see God at work, but we're unwilling to go where we can see him most actively at work, is in those places where people are blind, where people are hurting, where there is the mess of life in this world. That's when Jesus makes a beeline for those places, and that's the places we run from most actively. So, you know, we need to connect with the healing power of Christ, his commissioning and sending us out, just like the man born blind. But we also need to purify ourselves of the ways that we avoid the very places that Jesus wants to be. If we want to be close to him in our celebration of the resurrection, we have to run to him in places of his passion and suffering.